Hi, this is Jim Hazard from Common Accord. And in connection with the hackathon, I've done this little demo regarding how we could have uniform laws be treated as source code. So the uniform law that we're talking about is the Electronic Legal Material Act from from uniformlaws.org, which is the National Conference of Commissioners on Uniform State Laws. They do many uh, model forms of acts that individual states can adopt in an effort to harmonize the law across the U.S. So they track these. We'll see here that this one has been introduced in a number of places. In conversation with Daza, the thought was, what if we treat this as source code? And so I put those into my model of source. So what we have here is the base document. So this is their form, and I have broken it up so that it can be parameterized so that each adoption by a different state, here Massachusetts, here Oregon, can be treated as a fork on the code. There are advantages of doing this in that we can get a little better idea of what the differences are, and probably we can begin to predict what those differences are. My guess is that if you adopt this method, you can both create the forms more rapidly, allow for greater variation, and also understand the variations better. So I think it lowers the bar to creating uniform laws. So let's first, you'll see that you break the thing down into basic ideas, into a list, and then those are fulfilled. And they're fulfilled. Some of these things are parameterized here because in the two cases that I have, Oregon and Massachusetts, there are variations in the ways those are handled. This list here is a list of the definitive legal sources in each state, and the different states use a somewhat different form of each list. So this renders back into the original form of the law, and in the form of the Model Act, they already parameterize things using brackets. I parameterize them using these curly braces, which allows them to, in this model, to be automated as well as indicated. So here's the form. If we go then to look at what a fork on it is, we go to Massachusetts. So for the Massachusetts one, we reference the basic form, and then we have the Massachusetts set of changes which are above, i.e. they have priority over those changes. And in Massachusetts, it's still a bill, not an act. So we wrap the body of the document with the bill language, which is to say the bill is Section 1, the general laws are hereby amended, and Section 2 would be when it takes effect. So because they have that when it takes effect, Massachusetts deletes the information about when the effective date is. Massachusetts has its own idea of what the list of definitive sources are in Massachusetts, so we've parameterized those. Obviously, to the extent that you were dealing with laws that had similar kinds of issues, you could reuse this code. And in any event, this becomes machine readable. So you can create a graph that shows all the uses. It renders out into the full document like this, the full text with all the parameters in like that. So the changes, you can see here we've got this wrapping because it's a bill, and we've got the sources of material, etc. So the conforming changes across this, and there's no Section 12. If we go to the Oregon version of this, we see that there are different changes. So in Oregon, here we'll go to Oregon. in Oregon, they actually reorganize the sections. They take a couple of things that are sort of about the bill, and they put them at the end. And they also have a different list of definitive sources. And in Oregon, they're a little fussy to say that the act actually means not sections 11 and 12, which are sort of about the act, but the act is simply sections 1 through 10. So that's parameterized as well. There are a couple of grammatical changes that are needed because they refer to sections of the act rather than the act. And then you've got the Oregon stuff. In Oregon, they also have an emergency clause which overrides, so that text is changes. And then because they move the sections around, you have to renumber them. So all that's parameterized. And here is the format. Here's the result. So this fits into a general notion that all of legal text should be treated as code. So here we have that model. That's part of the beta-commonaccord.org demo site. It's part of a thing that all of legal text should be basically treated the way software engineers treat their source code. And we've got a bunch of other examples on this front page. So that's the basic idea. There's more information on it, and I'd be delighted for feedback from anybody interested in the model laws or in the concept as a whole. Thank you very much.